Hi, today's lesson is on the intro lead from Down to the Waterline by Straits. So this is Mark Knopfler playing guitar originally, and it's his song as well. And Down to the Waterline is the first track from the first Straits album, so it's 1978. So the first thing you would have heard by Straits if you bought their albums in order would be this intro lead. This one's a request from someone, so I said I'd have a look at it. And there's an interesting kind of chicken picking sort of thing that Mark Knopfler does a lot. There's a little bit of that in there, which is enhanced by a delay. So you kind of need a delay pedal to make this sound right. For the lesson, I'm not going to use any effects other than a bit of reverb, but in the demonstration, there's a delay on just to try to replicate the sound of the original. Okay, so it's in the key of B minor. B minor pentatonic would be here. And that can be extended in each direction. You may already know some of these extended patterns, but he moves out of that pattern at one point. If I just go through each phrase, it's not too difficult, this one, apart from the little chicken picking thing. So it starts off like this. We slide into the B, which is the 9th fret on the 4th string, and then play 3rd string 7, 3rd string 9, and then bend the 3rd string at 9 so that it sounds like an 11, let it down to a 9 again, bend it back up to an 11. I'll just play all of that. And the next phrase starts with the bend that you've already made at the end of the previous phrase. So you're holding this bend up, and then you pick the string again, let it come down to a 9 again, play same string, 7, 9, 9, 7. So the second phrase was, I'm using my thumb and these two fingers, partly because that's how I often play anyway, but also because that's how Mark Knopfler plays. So you'll get more of the sound and the attack that he gets by playing with your fingers rather than a pick. But you could play this with a pick and it will still sound close. So the first two phrases together. And some of these are very quiet on the record. That second one is pretty quiet. You can barely hear some of them. So the next one, we slide into a 7, which is an F sharp on the 2nd string, 1st finger. And once you've got that note, you then flatten your finger down so that you then play the 7 on the 1st string. Like that. And then there's a 10 on the 1st string, which is a D. You could use your little finger for this, which is the one that lines up at that fret. But it might be easier to use 3rd if you can stretch, because there's going to be a little hammer on and pull off thing that we want to do, which will be better with that finger. So we've got... And then we play the 7 again, hammer onto the 10 and pull off. Coming back across to the 2nd string 7, and then 1st string 7. So that was... And you notice I'm kind of just rolling this finger. I'm not actually hopping across, I'm just rolling it. And then there's a slide from 10 on the 2nd string up to the B at 12. And then there's another very faint phrase that he plays on the end of that, which is a hammer on from 10 to 12 on the 2nd string. Come down to the 3rd string, and we want to do a bend, a small bend from 9 to 10 on the 3rd string, let it back down to 9, then pull off to 7. It's very bluesy. So that phrase is very faint. And then a real sort of typical Mark Knopfler phrase that he plays next, which is that the chord changes to, I think it changes to a G, I think, and he plays the notes of almost of a G chord, but actually it's more like an E minor, but you could say that's a G with an E in it as well. which is the 6th, so it's kind of a G6. But he's following the shape of a little E minor triad or a G6 triad. And he does this a lot in his playing. And it's a rake. Now when you use a pick and you do a rake, what you tend to do is just play downwards across usually 3 strings and take your fingers off as you do it. And Knopfler does the same kind of thing, but uses his thumb and these 2 fingers and just rolls them like that. So it's more of a turn of your hand to get the effect. And if I do that with the shape and then take my fingers off as I'm playing it, like that. I'll take a bit of practice then. And on the end of that, we play the D at the 10th fret on the 1st string. And there's a dead stop there. Now at this point, the delay that's being used, the effect, the echo, is turned up basically. So the delay is much stronger at this point for a couple of phrases. So when he does this, it sounds a bit like he's playing this. But he's only playing it once, but the echo is repeating it. And on the end of that is another very faint phrase, which is 2nd string, 10, 12, 12 again, and bend it up to 14. So those 2 together. And then there's a really nice sequence using the B pentatonic minor scale. And a sequence is where you play the scale, but not in the standard order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you skip notes and go back to them. And this is what he does here. And that's really nice. And so many dynamics in his playing. So there's lots of loud and quiet, basically. So when he's lead playing in particular, he hits some notes much louder than others, and this is where using your fingers can help with this. There's a bigger dynamic range, I think, with your fingers. So when he plays this phrase, it kind of dies out as he's playing it. And then at that point, the band comes in. So if I just play what we've got so far, nice and slowly. Then the band joins in and he plays 3 notes, but it sounds like it should be 4. It sounds like it should be this. To me anyway, to my ears, that's what it sounds like he's doing. But if you listen very carefully, he's not playing that last note. It's not going, he's actually playing this. And because of where the beat falls, it really feels like there's another note on the end, but it's just the previous one ringing. So it's 9 on the 4th string, 2 7s on the 3rd string. And then a little bluesy phrase, the 9 again on the 4th string, 3rd string, 7, hammer onto 9, and then bend up to 11, all in one move. Like that. And then 7, hammer onto 9, and play the 9 again. So that was. And off the end of that, we've got the same 2 notes, the 7 and the 9 on the 3rd string. And you play the 7, hammer onto 9, pull off 7. And then 4th string, 9, 7, 9, 9. So from where the band comes in up to that point is this. And then we've got probably the hardest part of the whole solo, which is the chicken picking thing I mentioned earlier. Now this is where I think it'd be very difficult to do this with a pick. You could do it, but I think playing in Mark Knopfler's style with the right hand will really help with this if you can do this. what he does a lot is he'll use his thumb and this first finger, or sometimes thumb and second finger, and he'll be playing the same string multiple times and using the left hand to go from actual notes to dead notes or muted notes. So for example, if I just play this 9 on the 4th string, I can use my thumb, and then I can use my finger to play the note again, but relax the left hand, and then use my thumb again and push with my left hand. So you get different rhythms by using the left hand to push onto the note and then relax. So you're just touching the string and muting it. And this is the sort of style you really need if you want to play this accurately. So what he's actually playing on this section is the 9 on the 4th string, pull off to 7, play 9 on the 5th string, like this. And then there'll be a muted note, and then play those 3 notes again, muted note again. So and then there's another muted note which feels like it should be this note here, but you don't actually really hear that note, but I think that's where his finger is. So it's, and then we play a 7 on the 3rd string, and then he plays it 3 times. Now there's a lot of delay still, there's a lot of echo on this, so it's quite hard to hear exactly how many times he plays it, but I think it's 3 times. So he plays it once on its own and then 3 more. And then we're coming down the pentatonic scale, 9 on the 4th string twice, 7 on the 4th string twice, 9 on the 5th string once, 7 on the 5th string once, and then 7 on the 6th string, which is the B, once, muted note, once more, and then when you hit that last note, just slide up away and take your finger away. So it's very complicated when you go through it like this, but I'm just telling you what I think the exact notes are, and then you might want to just vary it a little bit and play it in your own way. But I'll just play that last phrase slowly. And a bit quicker. Now without the delay it doesn't quite sound right, but you get the idea hopefully. And that's the end of the intro lead. There's lots of fills in this that come in straight into the first verse. He plays little lead fills and things, but I might look at those separately at some point. But this is just the intro lead I want to have a look at as requested by someone on YouTube. Okay, hope that's all right, and please feel free to suggest any other Dire Straits songs or any other songs that you think would be good, and if I can do them, I'll have a look at them. Okay, please subscribe if you like this video, and thanks for watching.